Paperback Rocker, episode 82. Hey, this is Matt Severson, the Paperback Rocker, and I'm broadcasting from my 6x9 foot cinder block shack in the desert of northern Mexico, southern Texas. Welcome and thanks for checking out my show.
When he was young, his mother told him he could be anything. He said, "I want to be a podcaster, Mommy."
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your old friend Matt, the Paperback Rocker, back again with my little podcast, the Paperback Rocker Show. Once again, I will be reading from my novel, Blue Whiskey, and I'll catch up to speed on that momentarily. I want to mention something for anybody listening. I was not putting out my normal episodes, you may have noticed, but it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because my closest friend passed away last Tuesday, and I just want to say a few words about him for posterity. I could go on for a long time about him, and maybe sometime I'll talk about what happened to him. But not today. What I just want to say about my friend was that his name was Joe. He was real good friends with Mark, the drummer for my band, Saturn Lander, who is from Oklahoma. And me and Joe, who we call JD, we were all great friends in Seattle. And JD was my first friend in Seattle that I met just from calling a number off of a bulletin board or something. And we jammed together. This was like 1993. And we never did actually play music together as a band. But we always played music together for fun. He was basically like my best friend, as far musical friend. As far as we like the same kind of music, we always listen to music together. And he's the one who named my band, Saturn Lander. He was just a real close friend. And all this time, I haven't seen him or hadn't seen him since about 1999 or something. But we had stayed in contact all this time through my real down period and then through his real down period, which is what ended up being the end of his life, that period. But we still talked basically pretty much every week, and he was my closest friend. So it's really weird because I see something or listen to some song or something, and I just think, oh, I got to call JD and tell him about that, and then I think, oh, can't do that. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I went through the grieving process already, but anyway, rest in peace, my dear friend Joe. Rest in peace. Okay, where we left off with Blue Whiskey was Stanton Wheelhouse has arrived in Greenwich Village and is just kind of probing around, trying to get his bearings. And the first night he was really intimidated and scared, and now things are looking a little better. He's wandering around, greeting people, and he's getting ready to go into a store, which will introduce some new characters with some new accents. Hope you enjoy them. I have not worked on this at all. I just looked ahead, though, and I saw, and I kind of mentally decided what I'm going to attempt to do with the younger guy. Okay, so Stanton Wheelhouse, walking down the street. I came to what looked like a general supply store and entered. It was also narrow and deep like the thirsty possum. 2 rows of tall shelves extended down the length of the shop, dividing the space into thirds. Merchandise cluttered all available space on the shelves, some of it hanging and some in bins. It is early for a young man wearing the blouse of a shiksa to enter my store. I looked down at my silver shirt and felt out of place and self-conscious. I turned toward the voice and tripped on a woven rug. And a schlemiel as well. Oy vey. Papa, give the guy a break. He's obviously a tourist, said a second younger voice. I still had not seen anyone. I called out, I'm just looking for a map. He comes in a hardware store looking for a map. What a schmendrick. He's fasadik, Papa. I was frustrated and growing angry. Could I speak to one of you in person, preferably the one not talking shit about me? Both men laughed from somewhere to my left and farther back in the shop. A few seconds later, they appeared shoulder to shoulder in front of me. They were obviously Jewish. Papa looked like he might have worked in Oskar Schindler's factory during the war, but now he resembled a slightly melted version of his son. The son had on old jeans with the cuffs rolled up, a white t-shirt, curly black hair, and wire-framed circular granny glasses. He looked to be Reuben's age. I stepped up to them, and the old man reached out to feel the fabric of my blouse. This is a satin weave, but it's not made of silk. It's synthetic, said his son. Is that not what I just said? You said it wasn't silk, Papa. The old man looked at me and said, my son cannot read between the lines. He needs everything spelled out for him. Sometimes I think he's a Meshuggah. I'm not crazy, old man. You're getting senile. Only one of us is a Yahtzee, and it ain't me. How long are you two going to continue this? I asked. It goes on all day, the son said. I just need a map of the city, I said. What kind of a shigetz comes in a hardware store in search of a map? I shouldn't have to tell you, it was the old man speaking. He's calling me names again, I said to the son. I've got a map. I'll give it to you. He rushed to an unseen place in the store, and the old man and I stood face to face, trading disgusted looks. The younger man returned with the folded map between his teeth, pulling his coat on as he walked. Taking the map in hand, he said, I'm going for a cup of joe, Papa. Come on, he said to me. I stepped toward him aggressively, and he stopped. In an exaggerated manner, I examined the fabric of his coat. Is this velvet? I said, imitating his father's accent. The son laughed and grabbed my elbow, and we rushed out of the store as the old man's curses trailed us. May a golem visit you tonight, he screamed. Walking down the sidewalk, we finally stopped laughing, and I asked, what's a golem? Jewish boogeyman, just a legend. Don't worry about it. How can you work with your father? What's wrong with him? He's cranky. That's just a put on. He's the sweetest man in the world. If you say so. The cafe's on the next block. My name's Benjamin, by the way. My father is Chaim. I'm Stanton Wheelhouse III. In my mind, I wondered if I could say Chaim like Benjamin had without launching phlegm from my throat. We made it to the coffee house and entered, and I surveyed its patrons. There were people scanning the New York Times and others engrossed in thick novels. On the fringes of the cafe, I saw young people writing and sketching in notebooks. I took that as a good sign. It was an eclectic, intriguing mix. I'll have cafe au lait, I said, showing off. I had consumed many cups of it at Café du Monde back in New Orleans. I reached in my pocket for some money. No, no, Benjamin said. It's my treat. You're new in town, and I want to welcome you like a good New Yorker. How is it so obvious I'm not from here? I asked. Your eyes, they're very wide all the time. You're pretty smart for a Yankee, I said. Don't make me summon the golem, he said. Find us a seat. I found a table and sat down and examined the people closest to me. Oh, I forgot to say what page we're on, if anyone's following along. We're on 152 now, right at the top. I tried to see what a young lady was drawing in her sketchbook, and she gave me a dirty look, as did a middle-aged man writing on a legal pad when I attempted to read what he had written. New Yorkers expect to be granted privacy, even in tight quarters, but I did not know that. Neither of them said anything. I'm sure they knew at a glance I had not been in the city long, just like everyone else could. Wide eyes, you know. Benjamin came to the table and set a beautifully prepared café au lait in front of me. What are you having? I asked. Black coffee. I looked at the tables around me and saw I was the only one not drinking black coffee. Benjamin intercepted my thoughts and said, It's a New York thing. You'll catch on. They drink coffee like yours in Little Italy. Little Italy? I was mentally dumbfounded, but kept my expression like a wood carving, especially around the eyes. It's a part of town where the Italian immigrants settled. It's not far from here. Care to show me on the map, Benjamin? Call me Ben, he said. He pulled the map from the breast pocket of his jacket and set it on the table. We took our coffees in one hand and helped each other unfold the map on the little table. This is all New York City, he said as he hovered his hand over an area on the map. It's huge, I said. You'll get no argument from me about that, Stanton. The city is divided into 5 regions called boroughs. We're in the borough of Manhattan. He traced on the map with his index finger. This is Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. Each time he demarcated the zones with his finger. Ben recognized the potential for me to become overwhelmed, so he said, Let's focus on Manhattan. Do you know where you are? Greenwich Village, I answered. Can you point to where we are on this map? Not a chance. We're here. He brought his finger down on Charles Street, adjacent to Bleecker. Outline Greenwich Village for me, Ben. He traced his finger around the village. And this is the East Village over here, he said, continuing his virtual tour. This part of Manhattan is called Alphabet City. This area is the Lower East Side. Over here is Lower Manhattan, and right by it is Little Italy. And Chinatown's right next to that. And with every second I feel more insignificant, I said. What did you expect? Ben said. Did you underestimate the size of the city? Here we go. Lucy. Shh, shh, shh. Lucy, no, don't start. Hey. No. To be honest, all I was thinking about was Greenwich Village. With a name like that, I sure didn't expect... Stop, Lucy. That's when I turned my back. To be honest, all I was thinking about was Greenwich Village. With a name like that, I sure didn't expect all this. I thought it would be like an oasis in the middle of the city. Where did you come from, Stanton? I thought better of claiming Oxford, Mississippi, and said, New Orleans. Lucy, quit. Shh, quit that. New Orleans. That's a big city, isn't it? He asked. Definitely not. There are no big cities compared to this, I said, looking at the map like it was evil. What did you come here to do? I'm embarrassed to tell you, Ben. Nonsense. I came to be a musician. Benjamin grimaced. I took this as him foretelling doom in that vocation, but I later found out he was just thinking like a good Jew. Being a musician wasn't practical. My uncle is a tailor, he said. I can get you a good job in the garment district. Once again he brought his finger down on the map and traced. He took my left hand in his and examined it without asking for permission. You've got nice calluses. I think you won't feel the needles so much when you stick yourself. I've got calluses from playing a damn steel string, I said, thinking of all the time dedicated to my craft. I can't give up my dream just because there's a bunch of people living here. Up to this point, I had been convincing myself I had made a mistake coming to New York. Now that I had somebody right in front of me insinuating I couldn't make it here, I had something to prove. I know that is somewhat twisted thinking, what Rubin called pretzel logic. My later friends in Steely Dan borrowed the term as a title for one of their albums. I played on it uncredited due to record company bullshit, but that's another story. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call it for this episode. That is the top of page 154. We have just read volume 26, about halfway through, basically. And hope you're enjoying this. You can purchase my music at iTunes or CDBaby. The band name is Saturn Lander, 2 words, Saturn Lander, named by my dear friend Joe. And you can buy my books from Amazon primarily. That's the best source. Or you can get in touch with me, paperbackrocker at live.com and live.com, and I will arrange with you to send you an autographed copy or to someone you're planning a gift for. I've done that numerous times. And I can put a card in there, sign it specifically to them in the way you would like. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the story. Let me know sometime. paperbackrocker@live.com. I'll talk to you soon with another episode of the Blue Whiskey audiobook.
The Paperback Rocker has signed off.